Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on this episode of Going In Raw, now celebrating 10 years, we're going to be talking about last night's AEW Dynamite and revealed January 10 revealed identity of Sting's last opponents.
Yes.
Maybe, I guess. I'm assuming. It'd be weird if they weren't now.
Yeah, no.
The Young Bucks now with mustaches.
You know, to commemorate the occasion, perhaps I should have shaved the beard and let the mustache remain. And too.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yours would have to be a lot less beefier than it is to be theirs.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to thin it out up.
Yeah. So they busted out with some mustaches. According to Excalibur, by the way, a huge transformation.
I mean, growing a mustache and not wearing, their usual gear is not that huge of a transformation.
Looking mildly surly, massive transformation.
Very mildly.
Yeah.
With a little thin mustache. Yeah, I know.
Little tiny mustache.
You should have grown a mustache. See, could you grow a mustache?
Can I grow a mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah? Takes a little while.
All right.
Why are you always obsessed with my facial hair?
I'm not. I mean, I asked about it once a year, maybe.
You asked about it a couple times, yeah.
Okay, but
yeah.
It's not an obsession, I would say.
I don't know.
I know you just said that it doesn't grow in like evenly.
Yeah, like it's a little on the patchy side. Yeah,
I don't
really deal with it a
like,
lot.
Is it growing well on the cheeks, but nothing on the upper lip?
I don't know. I never really try. Just shave it. I don't really deal with it that often, to be honest with you.
You should grow a mustache.
I'm probably not going to do
a nice Tom Selleck mustache.
Probably not going to do that, but
some handlebars.
Take it under consideration, Larson.
Yeah, that's you saying no. I know it to say no.
All right. You want to keep on continuing on with the show now? Because I don't know where this is going. I don't know where this is going.
That's it. That's the extent of it. I was just asking about a mustache.
All right. Well, it seems like the Young Bucks are going to be Sting's last opponents at Revolution. Why are you looking at me weird now?
I'm not doing anything. I'm going to have a drink of water.
I'm going to have my drink of water, too. The Sting is having the Young Bucks as his last opponents at Revolution. And that happened last night. But first, Larson, we're going to talk about what really happened at Brawl In.
Yeah, this is kind of unexpected. So, Steve, Friendo's watching, whether it be live VOD. Who wants some more details on that all-in brawl backstage between CM Punk, Jack Perry, of course, Samoa Joe's involved. Apparently, CM Punk did something threatening to Tony Khan. Who wants more details? Steve, you want more details?
No, I didn't put it on the thumbnail, and I didn't put it in the title because I kind of feel like people are sick of this. But this is kind of funny what was said about it. So
yes,
yeah.
So DJ Whoo Kid, who accompanied Swerve Strickland to the ring prior to his match at All In, recently appeared on the Jim Norton and Sam Roberts Sirius XM show and recalled what he witnessed backstage at Wembley Stadium. These transcripts come to you from House of Wrestling. That's what DJ Whoo Kid had to say. You already know what happened to the back. It was a straight brawl city. I ain't going to talk about it. It was blood and killing and death. Apparently he laughs while he says that, so sarcastic, I would think. Think about it. It was like the biggest moment for AEW, and I guess he's trying to sabotage that moment. He, I assume, meaning CM Punk. He wasn't trying to get out there. That's when, and I'm in the middle, like, you know me, I'm a fly in the wall. It was very intense, I always thought it was fake and all this shit. There was a yelling moment where he was like, yo, fuck this shit. This is our moment. Everybody get the fuck out of here and do your shit. And I was like, I don't know how to wrestle, but I was about to go out. It was very intense. Like I always respect wrestling after I saw that. So Sam Roberts asked him who was doing the yelling in that instance. And DJ Whoo Kid answered, it was that big guy there, the Hawaiian. I assume Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. Seems like Samoa Joe, yeah.
It was a guy that was going ham, and I was just like, oh, shit, and blood was everywhere from the fight before
that. Blood was everywhere from the fight before that.
Does that mean the match before that? So, I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out this happened So the altercation between Punk and Jack Perry happened before Punk's match with Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recall, did Jack Perry get busted open in that match? Because if it was something that happened after Punk and Joe's match.
I know Punk was busted up, but yeah, this happened before then.
Yeah, Punk was busted open during his match with Joe.
Yeah, I don't recall Jack Perry having like a crimson.
I mean, he had that
mask,
spot where he
if you will.
there's some glass spots, real glass.
Yeah.
I just don't remember Jack Perry getting busted, or Hook for that matter.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I kind of, I don't know. I mean, this is probably some amount of like, I don't know, exaggeration. You know, people's memories generally are pretty crap anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, maybe he was just sort of, bringing more to it. The interesting thing to me is the bit where he said, get out there and fucking wrestle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I assume that's Joby like, hey, we got a job to do. This is a huge show. Let's not blow it with your petty bullshit, Phil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I want to see the tapes, Larson. Just because it's probably awkward as shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of those things that it total probably lasted like, I don't know, 25, 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably super quick, but in the moment, it probably felt like it lasted an eternity, especially from Tony Khan's perspective.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. I don't know about this account though. Blood was everywhere from the fight before that. Yeah, I don't know. The Hawaiian. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wonder like how many more of these little sort of, because there's a bunch of people back there.
Yeah, there's a ton of people back there.
And granted, you figure like most of them are AEW wrestlers.
Well, here's the thing too: is that Swerve's match wasn't on until much later in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it wasn't right after Punk and Samoa Joe. So I wonder if this was not necessarily in Mongo position, which is gorilla position in AEW.
Yeah, right.
Where this was witnessed, but there is a backstage area where people can sit and watch. Can congregate and watch the show on a monitor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wonder if that's when, it spilled out there. He just heard it happening, whatever.
I also given you and I talk about this a lot, like our memories were always like, wait a second. So like when you sort of like, you mix up events and scenarios in your head, I'm sure, there was, because wait, what was the big bloody, was there a big bloody match? I mean, Punk got blood at all.
Yeah, Punk got busted up in his match with Joe.
And it could be, because, if there was stuff that happened after the match as well,
yeah,
which there probably was, maybe there's some sort of like, jumbling of visual elements from his memory.
Could be.
That's taken place here. So, I don't know.
It's interesting. And it's interesting anytime anybody was there to at least in part witness some of this stuff, being able to speak about it or take an opportunity to speak about it.
People that are able to, people that are sort of like, not even legally, but it's like, okay, well, if the people who were there are still under, contract with AEW, they're not going to want to talk about that because they'll lose their jobs.
Be ramifications.
Yeah, you get your push halted.
I know.
And on top of that, it's just sort of tacky. But if you're just some dude who was there, it's like, oh my God, this was crazy shit.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Just talk about it all day if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about last night's AEW Dynamite. As we stated in the beginning of the show, the Young Bucks announced or not announced, but they made their presence known when it came to, Sting announcing his final opponent. We had heard that there was going to be some sort of new presentation when it came to the Young Bucks. And like we mentioned, mustaches and spy versus spy outfits. I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it a little bit later. Let's talk about just the general idea of the opponents.
No, something made you laugh. What was that? I want to talk about that.
I don't know, man. Like, they come out. And I'm trying to be diplomatic because to be AEW is to be under attack, Larson.
But of course.
They come out and it's like, it's supposed to be, I guess, this big return moment. And Excalibur tries to sell it, even though like in the world of AEW, they've only been gone a couple weeks.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
And they come out wearing like outfits that are just sort of like I made a joke, spy versus spy is an old school mad thing, but like Matt's got on like a black suit, right?
Well, it's like a black, I don't know, like leather jacket or something.
They look like Tony. What was the dude in NXT? Tony D. They look like Tony D'Angelo's henchmen, right?
Nick had like a white satin hat and jacket on.
Yeah, he was wearing like a white suit, and Matt was wearing like a black suit. And I mentioned this when the cameras were off, and I'll bring it up here. And this is going to be it's going to sound like I'm being an asshole, but really this is constructive criticism. I hope. I don't know. Whenever Nick, specifically of the Jackson brothers, has to portray a character or you know, a certain attitude or whatever, what's good guy or bad guy, he always comes off fairly natural, I think. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, he's hilarious as a over the top bad guy. Nick is hilarious. Yeah. When he's a good guy, he comes off as genuine. Matt, no matter what he does, always comes off like he's trying so hard to act. Mm-hmm. And he's got this big, goofy, over-exaggerated look on his face. And then like 10 seconds, 15 seconds after they emerge, you hear Excalibur say, "Oh, the Young Bucks with this huge transformation." And I'm like, what huge transformation? They're just wearing outfits that we haven't maybe seen them wear before, and they have mustaches.
Yes.
Like, yes. I get that he's trying to sell this, but it's like almost condescending to the level that he's trying to sell this. And I'm like, what huge transformation are we looking at right now?
Here's the thing.
Matt's weird look on his face.
Yeah, I know. They have really thin mustaches now. That's the difference. And part of it from a production standpoint, and this is an issue that that happens in wrestling. It's a live show. Sometimes timing can't be perfect. But if you have a situation where you have this reveal, this huge transformation in this instance, where they walk out on stage and they're supposed to be like staring at and making faces at Sting and Darby to build up anticipation for the match. So often they linger on that moment way too long. Mm-hmm. Like you go back to the old WCW Nitro days where you'd have that moment, something would happen, and they'd be like, "We're out of here. We got to go."
Yeah.
They didn't linger. It happened, and they're like, "Oh, Robin Hood's next. We got to get out of here." Now, if you hear a super kick party, and they come out, and you get one shot of them, one shot of Sting and Darby, and Excalibur could say, "Oh, the Young Bucks are here. Are they going to be Sting's first opponents?" Cut out.
Yeah.
Instead of lingering for another 2 minutes. Because then that's when it gets awkward, because they just have to stand there and try to make it look like they're doing something interesting, but they're doing nothing.
The thing
At least Darby was on the turnbuckle to talk shit.
The thing that I also, like, number one, also Sting's reaction seemed disappointed.
Well, it's like when Tito Ortiz came out.
That's actually a really good comparison, because that's sort of how I felt. The crowd did pop when they heard the music.
Yeah.
The AEW crowd likes the Young Bucks. I like them. I think they're good wrestlers. As characters, there's never been anything compelling about the Young Bucks, ever. And I'm sorry. One of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers. They are really good wrestlers when they've got a story to tell in the ring. They are really good.
They are.
As characters, they've never done anything compelling in their lives, with the exception of maybe the one time when Hangman Adam Page was about to win the championship, and they sort of just gave him a nod.
Well, even then, Matt was really hamming it up to camera.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, man. Like, they are terrific wrestlers, and I can't think of a better wrestler or act as a wrestling act to carry this to a really, really good fitting end for Sting. But like, I don't know. I don't know that now is the time to be debuting this huge transformation. You know what I mean? Because it just sort of distracts from everything. It's like, okay, we're going to grow these little mustaches, and then we're going to wear these spy versus spy outfits. And then we're going to come out, and Excalibur, you tell everybody that it's a huge transformation, even though there's nothing to suggest that it is.
No.
And they're going to have a really good match, and I think that's great.
The match
Revolution is shaping up to be a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah. I guess the idea is that the Young Bucks are going to be heels going forward. There's going to be the prospect of a lot of heat if they're going to be the ones to retire Sting and pin him on the way out.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the next question. If it's going to be the Young Bucks taking on Sting and Darby at Revolution, Sting's last match, is Sting going to do the honors? Is he gonna go out on his back like is often tradition in the world of pro wrestling? When it's your last match, a lot of times you lose to help put someone else over. This isn't a situation where the Young Bucks need to necessarily be put over. You know what I mean? Their status is intact regardless if they win or lose this match.
We've talked about like what are good possible opponents for Sting's last match, both in singles and tags, if that was going to be the thing. And you want it to be somebody who can benefit from a long-term standpoint.
Yeah.
Like somebody who, if they're going to beat Sting and Darby Allin, or if they're just going to beat Sting if it's a singles match, we'd thrown around the idea that it would be Darby. And even though Sting and Darby both said we don't want to do that, I think that would have been a fitting thing. You put Darby over long term. He's still, really early into his career. You would hope, do the way he throws himself around, maybe not, but
yeah,
he could benefit a lot from that.
And there's some good drama if that was the last match.
Yeah,
there could be some really interesting character development if that was the last match. You could have something harkening back to sincerely, not like some tongue in cheek thing. Sincerely, of like when Shawn Michaels was in Ric Flair's retirement match. I'm sorry, I love you before the super kick. You could have something like that, but given the relationship between Darby and Sting. Yeah.
I just don't know at this point, and I think you sort of alluded to this a second ago. I just don't know at this point what the Young Bucks really gain, from this. They came back after a couple weeks or months or whatever being gone, and now they're back with, let's say they do attempt some sort of big character transformation. And, is this gonna play into that? I guess. Did they go away and do this heel thing? So, hey, we can give Sting this big, we can be these bad guys and we're going to beat the crap out of them between now and Revolution. And so we're going to give Sting this big moment where they get to beat the Young Bucks on his way out. Maybe that's the idea here.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. I think that's good. Maybe, I could be turned around. It's just the very first impression of this, new Young Bucks. I didn't really see like, what is this?
It didn't hit.
Yeah, it didn't really hit. Yeah.
It didn't really hit. I guess that's the thing about the Young Bucks is they're a major enough name that it'll get eyeballs on the match. I mean, Sting, it being Sting's final match alone will get eyeballs on it, but you have the Young Bucks as the opponents. Oh, okay, that's a marquee deal. But again, it's not like the Young Bucks, win or lose, really gain anything long term from it.
Yeah,
so if they lose, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. If they win, it's not that huge of a deal, and if they lose, it's not that huge of a deal. CB85 here in the chat says, "I'd love it to be Hobbs and Takeshita." I think that would have been appropriate, because those are younger. Well, they're dudes who have much more of a legacy to craft.
Or even if it was Christian and Nick Wayne.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something.
I could think of several teams probably that would actually really benefit from being involved in that match. But especially more if they got the win. But given Sting's legacy, given his icon status in the world of pro wrestling, I imagine he'll be the exception in terms of going out losing. I'm sure Darby and Sting are going to win that match.
Yeah, I would think so too. I don't think this is going to be the thing. I think maybe it was a situation where there was some, monster young. If they had positioned Wardlow in a better way as a bad guy who's a singles guy who still has a lot of career left and can really benefit from, a win over Sting, then I could have seen, okay, Sting's going to lose that match. But yeah, I kind of feel like Darby and Sting are gonna win this. Or yeah, Tall Think EV actually says against FTR, one of those things where it's like, hey, all respect here. We want to do this because we want to make sure that the Sting win or lose goes out in a match that everybody will appreciate.
Remember, yeah.
And the Young Bucks are right there with FTR in terms of the quality of the wrestling. It says they show up. They show up looking like that. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes you got to nail the details with the presentation to get the dramatic effect.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and maybe a presentation change, not just in terms of mustaches and new clothes, but bring the house lights down. Have some sort of, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know about a new theme, but something that precedes the theme that kind of builds a little anticipation. I don't know exactly, something.
I had never noticed before. This was the first time I really noticed that their theme song, once you get through the first like 30 seconds, is just a loop.
It is. It's the same thing over and over again.
It's just a loop.
Yeah.
It's a fairly short loop, too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyways, before we continue on with our AEW Dynamite recap, let's go ahead and pay some bills. This episode of Going In Raw is brought to you by BetterHelp. You know, Larson, there's a saying that makes the rounds anytime the calendar turns to a new year. Maybe you've heard of it. New year, new you.
Oh, yeah.
Around this time of year, so many of us focus on how to change ourselves rather than spotlight what we're doing right. And therapy can help you find your strengths so you can ditch those wild resolutions and make changes that really stick.
I've talked a lot about how severe anxiety disrupted my life in my mid-20s. Now therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to better cope with that anxiety. But therapy also helped me to recognize and reinforce what I was doing right, which helped get me back on the path, becoming a happier, healthier, and more productive Larson. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Otherwise, it does seem like we probably are going to get that triple threat match that we talked about last week for the world title at Revolution.
Seems that way.
Samoa Joe, Hangman, Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland.
That was an interesting segment because he had Joe with the new belt and the nice suit come out and saying, now that I'm champ, we're going to change how championship challenges are made. You got to have the resume. You can't be going complaining on social media. You can't come out here and complain on the mic. You get a title shot. You gotta have your bona fides ready for the championship committee. And if your bona fides aren't up to snuff, guess what? No title match for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you have Swerve Strickland come out and confront Joe. Swerve's resume, especially over the last year, is pretty damn good in terms of competition. Apologize for my dog barking. I don't know what the deal is. In terms of the competition he's faced and defeated. I would say he more than qualifies for a championship opportunity. Next, Hangman Adam Page, former AEW world champion. I mean, that alone, I think, would qualify him. But he mentions got a win over Mox, Texas Death last year, amongst other wins. Definitely qualifies. And like the aura that Hangman and Swerve have, their presentation is championship caliber. Like everything about Hangman and Swerve, you could see the title on them.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And it fits, it works. So they leave, and then you have the hook signal projected up at Daly's place.
Have they done this before?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a Batman thing.
Yeah, it's like the bat signal, yeah. And so he comes sauntering out and does a lap around the ring and gets in the ring and steps up to Joe. And I'm like, here, I understand Hook. He's only been wrestling a couple of years. I know he's booked to have a good record in terms of presentation. In terms of aura, he does not match up to Hangman or Swerve. He doesn't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's got a thing and it works, but Tony Khan hasn't done anything to build upon. Because when Hook first debuted, you're like, oh, this guy could have some serious mystique if he's booked in an interesting way.
Yeah.
But he's just been booked to beat people except lose the Jungle Boy once.
Yeah.
And they've never really endeavored to flesh out his character or tell any interesting stories with Hook.
Yeah, no, they haven't. He is, I mean, I understand, Tony Khan says he's 28-1. I don't know how many of those are singles matches, but not a large
And what's the level of competition of those 28 wins?
Not very high. Like his last two, we talked about this yesterday, his last two singles matches were against Rocky Romero. No disrespect, I love Rocky Romero. We had him here on the show once. Not exactly
Rocky's
like
great.
A title contender guy in AEW. and Wheeler Yuta, who's the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion, which is like, 2 championships, or I guess maybe 1 championship now.
But he's basically young boy of Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like the 4th member of Blackpool Combat Club. So, yeah, I feel you. So, like, is your supposition? Joe just laid out the criteria for, what you need to present to the championship committee. This guy, did he go through those proper channels? It doesn't seem like
Well,
it.
does his resume stand out amongst a lot of other people in AEW, not just Swerve or Hangman? There's probably at least a dozen people I'd say would have a better case to ask for a championship match than Hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I feel you. You're right. Yeah. I like Mox,
Mox, Danielson.
They want to do like a match where Judas is played through the entire thing. They could do Jericho.
Gosh.
They could do that. Why do you suppose they did that?
Oh, I wonder why, Steve. It's interesting. He comes out, they play Judas. All you can hear is Judas playing. You can't hear any other sounds.
Oh, I was dying.
For example, people reacting to Chris Jericho.
I was dying laughing. I was cracking up when that shit did not stop. I'm like, how transparent? Like, that is the laziest, most transparent thing.
It really is.
Is he gonna disappear after Saturday?
He and Sammy lose on Collision?
Is he gonna take a
probably
break?
a good idea.
Boy,
it's probably a good idea to go away.
What is that conversation? Like, what is that? Seriously, what is that conversation backstage? Hey, because here's the thing. There was time between the social media thing with Jericho, and people haven't forgotten that. And he gets booed at the mere mention of his name on Collision. They had time to not put that match together.
I know.
So he gets booed on Collision, and you got to wonder if, okay, maybe the fact that he was booed, the name was booed on Collision, led them to think, oh, shit, this isn't going away, but we just booked the match. So we're going to do this angle on Wednesday. Let's not have it be taken over by what could be a nasty crowd response to what's supposed to be the good guys here. And we'll just go ahead and drown it all out with Judas instead.
But the question is, they can do. I know it's a street fight, and there's obviously for Anarchy in the arena matches, they've had music playing for the duration of matches. It's not the first time it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But are they really going to have Judas playing the entirety of that street fight, or are they going to do the situation where they take the match almost exclusively backstage, so they barely, if at all, go out to the ringside area? So you can have the murmur of crowd noise in the background, but predominantly the audio is going to be what's happening live backstage during the match.
Is it at all possible this match takes place entirely, like they never go into the arena area?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Like they just start the match like during, you see backstage, oh my gosh, it's going. They're just ringing the bell. And the entire thing takes place back
it could
there.
be a situation where Jericho's involvement takes place entirely backstage. But for the finish, say Ricky Starks and Sammy make their way out to the ring.
Yeah.
Starks hopefully pins Sammy Guevara now that he's got pinned by him twice in a row for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they'll do it. I don't know.
They might have them take out Jericho. You're right. They might have them take out Jericho. That's what they'll, that's now that I think about it, they'll probably do some big angle backstage. They take out Jericho.
Bill powerbombs him into something. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Or they'll do something a little bit overboard to write him off for a while they figure out how to handle this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that this is just going to go away on its, I don't know if they can wait this out.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably not.
Like if he goes away for 3 months and then he comes back, I don't know. Is the crowd going to be like, oh, cool, he's back. We get to sing Judas again. We'll forget about, what we had read back then, regardless of, I have no idea. We have no insight on that situation.
No. But
there is a perception out there that is affecting the crowd. So, yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. But yeah, it was plainly transparent why they were playing Judas the entirety of that segment. It was pretty obvious what they were doing with that. What else happened during the show here? Let's see. Gosh, I scrolled past it. Oh, what do you think of a potential Bullet Club Gold Bang Bang Gang acclaimed super faction? In favor, yay or nay?
Probably nay. And the only reason why is because it'll be a really short-lived thing. It'll be the thing. This is one thing that AEW has too many of. Short-lived things that are used to sell T-shirts for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. And then people are just left with these $35 T-shirts that are completely dated.
No longer relevant. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I like the idea of these two teams like in a thing. I like that.
Yeah.
And they are telling they're trying to tell a story to get to these two teams having a thing. So yeah, in that respect, I'm cool. I just don't know, like it's so forced to the idea like, hey, let's all be a faction and here's our name. It comes off as a bit forced.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's got story motivation and they're all really charismatic personalities and Austin Gunn. So yeah, I guess maybe I just turn my nay to a yay. Sure, fuck it. Why not
There we
do
go.
it? You know, I complain about not enough stories. Let's do it. There's a story there.
The one thing I like about this story is that Austin especially is open to it, and kind of the subtext is it's because he misses his dad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I do like that as well.
Colton not so much, but Austin seems like, you know, he misses. He wants to have it. He wants his dad back. You know,
the idea of like the crowd wanting Jay White to scissor also it appeals to me because I love Jay White. I think he's absolutely terrific.
Oh yeah, Jay White is great.
So yeah, I'm down with that. I think that's all right.
You're down with it? You got 2 words?
Yeah, guns up, of course, right there. Kicked off with Hangman Adam Page versus Claudio Castagnoli.
What a great
boy!
match.
Oh boy, this is a great match. This is good stuff.
Hangman,
so
on the topic of mustaches, what do you think of Hangman Page's?
Oh, it's great. It's awesome.
Full,
it's beefy.
Yeah, it's very, Tom Selleck, Magnum PI.
Well, they're going for a Magnum TA thing.
Yeah.
Which obviously the next step needs to be a post-shower promo with, the
Wearing
towel barely on.
Yeah,
Shivani
with the deep
interviewing
V.
him.
Yeah, the deep V.
People who watch my Twitch channel back
on full
in the
display.
day know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyways, no, this is a killer match. Claudio's a freaking S-tier wrestler. Really good stuff. The finish saw Page looking for a dead eye, reverse it into a reverse powerbomb onto the top turnbuckle. Follows with a flurry of uppercuts, a short arms clothesline, gets a 2. Claudio hits 12-6 elbows, looks for a neutralizer. Page reverses that into a dead eye, gets 2. And then Claudio looks for a super Ricola bomb. Page reverses that into a Rana, follows with 2 buckshots to get the win on Claudio.
Fantastic match. It's a huge win. It's the type of wins that Hangman needs to be getting on a regular basis. They're going to build him back up to a championship contender.
I like his current presentation. I like his current. He's finally bringing. I like that it was unlocked because of the Swerve feud, the intensity. He's unhinged, walking around. They should probably put a beer can back in his hand.
Well, he did take a swig of someone's beer during the match last night.
Oh, that's right. He did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I like that Hangman. Just grumpy all the time. That's what it should be.
Surly, grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a really good Brody Lee video package highlighting his AEW career.
I miss him, man.
I do too.
He was so darn good.
I know. I really miss Brody Lee. And after that, we had Orange Cassidy teaming with Preston Vance, Dustin Rhodes, and Cope. Edgy Adam Copeland taking on Brian Cage, Toa Leona, Khan, and Lance Archer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 of these 8-person tag matches, and in each of them they had, as I think in the video package described as Brody Lee's, handpicked proteges, Preston Vance and Anna Jay. And so, of course, Preston gets the win in this match. Anna Jay gets the win in the women's 8-woman tag match later on.
Mm-hmm.
There was some fun stuff in here, though. The finish saw Dustin leap off of Khan to take out Toa Leona. Brian Cage hits Dustin with an F5, so then Copeland's looking for a spear, but Page catches him. Copeland, though, hits him with an impaler. Khan hits Cope with a lung blower. Orange hits Khan with an orange punch, and then follows with a choke slam. I like that Orange Cassidy's starting to do like big man moves.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So then Archer hits him with the boss man slam, and then Preston Vance hits Archer with a pump kick. Leona hits Vance with a Samoan drop. Archer looks to boot Vance, but Vance gets out of the way, so Toa Leona eats it. Cage gets upset because they're the trios champs in Ring of Honor. And then Archer clotheslines Leona out of the ring. Cope then spears Cage. Vance hits Khan with a discus lariat to get the win.
Yep. Good stuff right there. After that, we had Bullet Club interview. Bullet Club Gold. Guns up. Renee asks him about the Undisputed Kingdom, and Gunn says it's the United Kingdom where Jay is from. And Renee corrects him, says Jay's from New Zealand, and Jay says, just go with it, Renee. The Undisputed Kingdom, they seem to be going after all the gold. They fancy themselves pretty handy treasure hunters, it sounds like. Look, anything they can do, we can do much, much better. We could be singles, tag, hell, trios gold. That runs in the boys' DNA. And then the Acclaim step in, and Bone's like, look, we hear you, and that's exactly what we're saying. All six of us have the same common enemy. Wouldn't it be great if we were unstoppable, holding all the gold? Just not these, of course. And Colton takes a bit of offense in Austin.
Titles,
yeah. And Austin calms him down and says, what he means is imagine all of us holding gold at the same time. Caster says, correct. The Acclaimed is the people's choice, and if you listen to the people last week before we saved you guys, it seemed like they were cheering for you almost as much as they cheer for us. So I'm saying we combine forces. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to hang out and watch soccer games in the office, but there's something here. And then Bowen shouts, bang, bang, scissor gang, super faction, think about it. And Jay says, first off, we're not a faction, we're a gang. We're going to need a little bit more time, so we're going to ponder. You guys sit by your phones, all right? And then Colton tells Billy to sit by his fax machine.
Yep. Then Samoa Joe wearing a nice-looking suit. Got a brand new AEW championship comes to the ring.
Yep. I'm glad they didn't do the thing that, like, because Fightful had, like, a picture of, like, a possible, iteration.
Yeah.
It just looked like they slapped an AEW sticker on the front of it with, like, a black background. It was like,
yeah.
I don't like that. It's not
good. Yeah, I like that he has a new title. They didn't make a huge deal of it, though.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
There's no presentation that wasn't unveiled or anything like that. He just
came out with it, yeah.
So he says, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Samoa Joe, and I stand before you tonight as your AEW World Champion. So the crowd chants, thank you, Joe. And he responds, no thanks is needed. I was destined for this. In light of that, tonight we make some changes to the championship challenging protocol. You see, when you're a champion, you become a marked man, and this is a very dangerous environment. I heard even a devil who made a bad deal is looking for me. But we're not worried about devils tonight, because if anyone is running things in Duval County, it's Samoa Joe. In light of that, here are the changes we're making to the championship protocol. No more will you have to come out here and whine in this mic about your poor misfortune. No more will you have to go to social media and make your hoe-ass comments. Nah, you bring your record and your reputation, you submit it to the championship committee, and if you're deemed worthy, you get express pass to walk that aisle right there, get in this ring, and have me stomp your ass out in front of everyone who has ever cheered for you. For the new championship era is here, and for all who want a piece of me, your champion is waiting.
So then Swerve comes to the stage, and he says, this is the first time we're at Daly's place. We're going to call this Whose House? The crowd, of course, says
Swerve's house.
So Swerve says, now, Joe, a couple months ago, I told this man, Hangman Page, that it really wasn't a personal thing between me and him. I'm just after his spot. Look what I did. I took it. So I'm going to reiterate that same thing to you, Joe. This ain't a personal thing between you and me. I just want that AEW championship, and I'm going to take it. However, after I take that title from you and you choose to make this a personal thing between you and me, I'll be more than happy to. So he smiles, gets in his face. Hangman comes to the ring, stares at Swerve, says, if we're out here calling our shots, making New Year's resolutions, I'll go ahead and I'll make mine, because 2023 for me, it held the line. I beat John Moxley in a Texas death. I reunited with the Elite, Anarchy in the Arena, Blood and Guts, and as much as you found me, Swerve, I found you. But the one thing I lost sight of last year was AEW World title. In 2024, I will make it mine. He gets in Swerve's face. Prince Nana pulls Swerve back. They leave with the rest of the Mogul Embassy, and Paige says to Joe, I see you smirking over there. I haven't forgot what you had done to me, and I'm going to take that from you for it. So then he leaves. Joe dusts off the title bit, holds it high, and then the hook signal hits. He walks around the ring in his gray sweatpants, gets in, steps up to Joe, and he's like, next week. And Joe's like, oh, next week? He's like, next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of gravitas there from Hook.
No, he does have a good aura to him, though.
He does, but they're just counting on aura, not much else.
I feel like you got a good point with the resume stuff. I feel like he's got such a great look, and I feel like they haven't jumped the shark with Hook. You know what I mean? Like they put him in some situations where maybe it could have been like, he's jumping the shark a little bit, but I feel like he never really got to that point.
But I also feel like the situation where they were maybe hesitant to take risks with Hook for fear of maybe doing that, and because of that, he hasn't really ever evolved as a character.
It's weird that because his strength is in the simplicity.
Yeah.
And it is weird that, and I get maybe it's a thing because he is still young in his career, and AEW is a place where you need to be putting on 15 to 20-minute matches.
Yeah.
They haven't had him be more ambitious with what he's doing, because like 28-1 sounds good, but as we've said, a lot of multi-man matches.
Well,
a
lot
of quick matches.
Yeah.
And a lot of quick matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I understand why they'd be hesitant, but at some point you just gotta go out there. You gotta do the whole thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Maybe, it's entirely possible situation where Joe's like, they booked the match, so it can't be, but it'd be interesting in a situation where Joe's like, you think you satisfy the criteria? Go out there and improve yourself, Hook.
Mm-hmm.
With some real competition or some stiffer competition, and come back to the championship committee, and we'll see if you meet the criteria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's actually a story for Hook.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like I'll be waiting for you. Yeah,
where he's got to face some actual much stiffer competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but nope, they're at the title match next week. So then we get a Deonna Purrazzo arrives in AEW recap. Following that, we get a Toni Storm interview. So Renee's asking Toni for her reaction of Deonna Purrazzo's arrival, but Mariah May interrupts and asks Toni, did you see my match last week? And Toni responds, darling, I was sent a screener. I didn't see a single of a frame. How'd it go? Did you hit an arm drag? That's fantastic.
Gosh, she's so good in this role.
She is good. So Renee says, no, she was referring to AEW's newest signee, Deonna Purrazzo. Oh, sorry, newest signee. And Toni goes, Wendy Richter.
She puts up her dukes, too.
She does. And Renee says, no, Deonna Purrazzo. So again, Mariah mentions that Deonna kicked her in the face. And Toni goes, oh, darling, have a chocolate. Deonna Purrazzo. Now that does sound familiar. It certainly sounds Italian. All these women coming after my title, I feel like the prettiest girl at the dance. Luther, set up a meeting with this Donna Palazzo. We've got to get to the bottom of this. Until then, chin up, tits out, and line. And Mariah leans in and says, and watch out for the shoe. And Toni goes, darling, that is my part. Now you've ruined the moment. And so she walks out. And then Luther just laughs at Mariah while she's eating the chocolate that Toni Storm gave her.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, man. Toni's so good. Her comedic timing is ridiculous.
Oh, it's fantastic.
After that, we had some Sammy Guevara and future NXT star Ricky Starks. Yeah, so I get that, like, Sammy is supposed to be the good guy, right? Like, that's why.
In theory, yes.
And then he's going to lose the big match on Saturday. So I get the math here.
But it's just Sammy already beat Ricky, pinned Ricky in that tag match. That was last week.
Yeah. Is there any chance Sammy and Jericho win those tag titles?
I mean, honestly, given that what's going on, I'd be surprised. But I mean, if it's a situation where maybe someone's contract's up soon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like ever since Ricky Starks got involved with anything Chris Jericho, he wants seemingly nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I know. And with good reason.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara here gets the win.
Doesn't even hit his finisher.
Yeah, I know. I was like, are they going to replay this? Because, like, what was that? So Sammy leapfrogs a spear attempt. Starks runs into the second turnbuckle. Sammy looks for a GTH, but Starks reverses out into a roll-up, gets a 2. Starks goes for a spear, but Sammy ducks. Ricky runs into a super kick, and then Sammy just sort of rolls him up for the win here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. So they shake hands. Sammy's trying to give respect to Ricky Starks, but that brings Bill in. He attacks Sammy from behind. Judas starts playing and does not stop until we go to commercial because Jericho runs to the ring to make the save. Brawls with Bill while Sammy and Starks fight on the floor. Jericho hits Bill with a code breaker, follows with a springboard drop kick, and they all brawl into the crowd.
Review King here says Jericho's new gimmick is New Jack song playing during every match.
Yeah. Like they used to do at New Jack. That was great.
Yeah, that's what that used to happen in ECW.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens Saturday. And then if Jericho and Sammy lose, you'd like to think Jericho's got to take some time off TV.
They got to write him off, man.
They got to do something.
Yeah, they got to do something with that.
After that, we had 8-woman tag match. Willow, Chris Statlander, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa taking on the Outcasts. So Saraya, Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. It was a fun match. Finish this. Willow hit a double clothesline on Sky and Julia. She gets the hot tag to Statlander. She goes on a run. Everybody in the ring gets in, and they do the full team-on-team suplex spot.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
the faces get the upper hand here. The match kind of breaks down. It leads to Anna Jay tagging herself in. Statlander hits a rolling suplex on Saraya. Saraya tags in Julia. Anna and Julia are trading shots. Anna locks in the Queen Slayer, but then Julia pushes her into her own corner to break it. Sky Blue tags in pretty quickly after that. Anna locks the Queen Slayer on Sky Blue, and Sky taps.
Yeah, this is fun stuff. This is a fun match.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had a Wheeler Yuta video package. I'm not going to tolerate Eddie's disrespect. You may have beat all my Blackpool Combat Club teammates, but you didn't beat me. I'm the young boy. He says, the Continental Crown is something I'm built for, so bring it this Friday on Rampage. It's the universe where the Hardys are stuck in, Larson. After that, we had Roderick Strong versus Brian Keith. Another L for Brian Keith.
What's the deal with that, man?
You have this really nice, reputation outside on the indies.
Yeah, he's built a really good name for himself for the last year or 18 months.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, hey, bring him on in here to AEW. L's. I don't know what's up with that, man. This dude was just eating pins left and right. I don't know what the deal is, man.
I don't know what the deal is either. I don't know what the deal is. Roderick Strong gets the win, as Steve mentioned. It was fun. It was a little on the short side. Brian Keith is a really good wrestler.
Yeah, he's a really fun wrestler.
Hopefully he'll be getting some wins in AEW if he sticks around.
They'll probably, I'm assuming they're going to put him in Ring of Honor, and maybe he'll get some wins there.
Mm-hmm. That could be. So at one point, Brian Keith hits a Diamond Dust, looks for a Tiger Driver. Roddy blocks that. Keith looks for a roll-up, gets a 2. Upon kicking out, Roddy hits a jumping knee, end of Heartache for the win. Then the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom get in the ring. And Adam Cole pretty much delivered the same promo he did last week.
Mm-hmm.
He says, when I said this place was going to change, it wasn't just some cute thing to say. I meant that. So many people are so concerned with earning your respect. Well, I'm telling you right now that we're not worried about you at all. We don't want to earn anything from any of you because we deserve it. For God's sake, Roderick Strong, a 20-year veteran, one of the most physical, one of the most incredible, and pound for pound, bell to bell, the greatest pro wrestler alive today. As far as I'm concerned, the AEW International Championship has Roddy's name on it. Taven and Bennett, 9 of the greatest Ring of Honor tag champs of all time, the current tag champs. They have never gotten the respect they deserve. They will go down as one of the greatest tag teams that have ever lived. And, of course, the Monster, the Dominator, one of the most vicious men in AEW history, talking about Wardlow. Now that Wardlow is surrounded by people who actually respect him, I promise you, when the time is right, we are going to win the AEW World title. Wardlow didn't look quite as put off by that this time as he did last week.
Yeah. They probably told him to dial it down a little bit because, man, his facial reactions were going on overboard last week.
And he looked like he just woke up from a nap. Yeah. Like he had pajamas on, basically.
Yeah.
He looked super comfortable. So Cole concludes with, boys and girls, say hello to your new home, or should I say your new kingdom, and do me a favor and make sure you get comfortable because we're going to be here for a very, very long time.
After that, we had a Donna Palazzo interview. Renee asks how she's feeling being in AEW, and Deanna says, I'm still on cloud 9 so far, Renee. It's only been a week. I have my sights set on AEW champ Tony Storm, and if she wants to pretend she don't know who I am, that's fine. I'll have my people send her people a screener, and she'll be reminded when I make my in-ring debut this Saturday on Collision. And then Red Velvet steps in and says, this Saturday on Collision, huh? We're all in for a treat because I'm making my Collision debut as well. So I say you get in the ring with me with this AEW OG, and we can stir it up. And
she's doing her stirred up tone.
Doing the stir, yeah. And then Deanna's like, is that your stirring arm? And Red Velvet says, yeah. And Deanna's like, good to know.
She's going after the stirring arm.
Going after the stirring arm.
Yeah.
Smart move, yeah. By the way, High Plains Drifter here just gifted 5 memberships to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much, High Plains Drifter. We really appreciate that.
Thank you,
While
High
we
Plains
have
Drifter.
you,
Much appreciated.
before we talk about this main event here, quick reminder, hit that like button. We're trying to get to 50% on likes every single time, and right now we're woefully behind. We're at 132.
Oh, dear.
With 550 people watching right now.
We should have about double that then.
I agree. I know. Want to get to 50%. Also, hit that subscribe button and the like button. I'm sorry, I already said the like button. The subscribe button and the notify bell.
Yes.
Because this Saturday, we're going to be live for 12 hours.
Oh,
a 12-hour stream, both on the YouTube and over at the Twitch. It's going to start at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And you can join us for all 12 hours or just chunks of the 12-hour. I don't know. You can do whatever you want to do.
Come and go as you please.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After that, we had our main event, Sting and Darby Allin versus Powerhouse Hobbs and Konosuke Takeshita. This is a lot of fun, but there's some Sting's got to be happy he's going to be done soon, because there are some spots here, especially that final Scorpion Death Drop through the table, man, we're kind of scary for Sting because he's super old.
He is. And doing the Scorpion Death Drop off the stage, even though there's a couple tables there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, not exactly the safest thing. So he had to deal with Ric Flair getting in the ring and then slowly trying to get out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
After he hits Hobbs with a couple chops, and then pokes him in the eye. This guy wants to be involved in more physical stuff. I guess not matches, but maybe take bumps. And he has to be very careful getting out of the ring. Probably not a good idea for him to be taking any bumps.
Yeah, were you distracted like I was by Ric Flair, like when he was trying to get out of the ring?
Yes,
because
he's trying to negotiate that foot over the second rope. Yes,
yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, don't trip and fall to the floor.
And like he looked like he was like really sort of, I don't know, his whole body was like bracing for something,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh God, is he gonna?
I know.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
So eventually the match makes its way up to the ramp. So you have Sting and Hobbs paired off, Darby and Takeshita. Takeshita's looking for a running knee on Darby, but Darby moves, and so Takeshita just knees the guardrail. And then Darby climbs up into the bleachers. He hits a coffin drop off the bleachers onto Takeshita on the stage. So then Hobbs is looking to slam Sting off the stage through some tables. Sting escapes that, hits the Scorpion Death Drop off the stage through those tables. Sting rolls over, gets the pin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Powerhouse Hobbs is eating pins, but
yeah, I don't get that either, man. I really don't. Like, I don't know. I get it. It's a Scorpion Death Drop from a long ways up through the table. It's just, when are they going to push this guy?
I know.
When
it's
are they
the
going to
same
give this
thing
guy
with
a
him.
push?
Hey, we're going to put him in an interesting situation potentially, and then he loses.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I know. Like, he doesn't get any like promo time anymore, and it's just, he's just part of a random ass faction taking these L's. I don't know. I don't get it, and I think it's really silly.
It is. It's frustrating. Sting and Darby then get back in the ring. They have an interview with Shivani. Shivani asks Sting, who's going to be the opponent for your final match? Before he can answer, super kick party. Young Bucks music hits. And they slowly ambulate out to the stage and awkwardly stare at Sting and Darby. At least Darby gets on the turnbuckle and tries to talk some trash. Brings some intensity to it because they're lingering on that for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have the reveal and you cut. You leave people wanting more.
Yeah. Yeah. Identity reveal.
You don't linger.
They should have shown shots of Mr. Kennedy doing.
That's true. This should just be the B-roll from that segment.
Can somebody do that? Can Rob do that for us, please? Like, get that segment
that'd be
from last
great.
night and then add some Mr. Kennedy from the identity revealed.
And best of all, like get some AI Mike Tenay doing the announcing.
I feel like you're asking for a lot there, but if anybody can do it, Rob can. Let's see. Go ahead and answer some questions here.
Let's do it.
David Matushek says, considering that the Bucks are Sting's last opponents, is the latter going solo for the match, or will he team up with Darby? Yeah, that wasn't actually specified. They asked Sting who his last opponent was. Both the Young Bucks come out. Is it possible, given that we've seen Sting take on two men at the same time in certain situations during matches, is it just going to be Sting versus the Young Bucks?
Unless Darby just happened to book his trip to Mount Everest that weekend. It's going to be a tag match.
I saw that video of like people climbing Mount Everest. It's not just climbing things, you have to go over giant gulfs of like danger with like the shakiest little ladders.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
And then there was that guy on the snowboard who got trapped under the snow.
That's crazy.
That skier randomly happened to like find him.
That's crazy.
Man.
We got a couple new members here, High Plains Drifter and the Ashen Chevalier. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We also had some super chats earlier.
Yeah, I couldn't find
here we go. CD85 says the suits mixed with the acting looked like the Bucks were in a spoof action movie. Yeah, that's the dramatic transformation.
A piece of adult cinema.
Yeah, there you go. Here to fix the cable. High Plains Drifter with super chat says, also, if you guys ever boo my comments, I'm going to blare loud music.
They should reform their 6-man team with Adam Page and be the Hungus Bucks.
No, the Carl Hungus Bucks. High Plains River says, if you ever boo my comments, I'm going to blare loud music and pretend you don't exist. Yeah.
Andre Zimpel here says, who has the best theme in wrestling right now, Julia Hart or Bobby Lashley?
I mean, look, man, I like Julia Hart's theme and everything, but it's not the kind of theme you can play. If I'm that snowboarder who's dug into the snow and I hear that music, I might celebrate because Bobby's coming to save me.
That's true.
And then put me in the Hurt Lock.
Yeah. But at least you're out of the snow.
I'd rather be in the Hurt Lock than being upside down in the snow.
Buried in snow. Absolutely.
Man, I'm never leaving my house.
So I don't know if there is a song in pro wrestling, a theme right now in pro wrestling that sets a tone and an atmosphere like Julia Hart's theme right now.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's so good at setting a tone that fits her character so well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But Bobby Lashley's theme, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boom,
boom,
boom, boom, boom.
High Plains Drifter, also a member for 22 months, says, listen to you guys while putting down some flooring in the old basement. He's going to put some bodies down there. Steve, can I get some Bret Horse today? And Sting's last match should be Darby. I agree with that last part. Hey, you want some Bret Hart? Do I have the Bret? Where's the Bret Hart horseman?
Oh, gosh, we don't need that.
Hey, nay. Nay, you say nay, I say yay. Here's the thing about horses.
No.
I'm going to talk really quick here about horses,
No, you don't have to do that. We can move on.
Unlike Goldberg, I really like horses.
All right,
but I don't like Bill Goldberg. I won't want to mate with him, but I do want to mate with horses.
Cat Dad 7, stop. Cat Dad 7 here says, with Roman having such a long title run, how long will whoever beats him, Cody, how long will Cody's title run have to be in order to not be considered a transitional champion?
Cody?
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing. A transitional champion is a guy who, like, the next big guy's got to take it off him. So as long as the next guy that takes it off Cody, I don't know, 6 months.
I was going to say 8 months.
6 months. 8 months. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know.
And part of it, too, is if he loses within the first year of winning the title and it serves the story they're telling,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to, hey, we put on Cody just so we can get it on another heel. That's
mm-hmm.
the difference. If the belt is put on Cody just so that just so they can get to somebody else, that's a transitional champion. That's a transitional champion.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain it. Like he's been the story. Like the whole story thing is his. By virtue of that, it's not transitional. Like the whole point is getting it on him.
Yeah.
If on the other hand, Jinder got that title off Seth Monday only for Damian Priest to cash in, even that's not necessarily a transitional champion.
Not in the truest definition, no.
Yeah.
Blake Whitehouse here asks, who has a better chance of debuting for AEW, the Miami Alien or Jinder Mahal?
I think here's the thing. If whatever Miami Alien wants to do, they're going to do. Because they have all the leverage.
Absolutely. They're alien.
The entire planet is their leverage.
Yeah. Yeah.
By virtue of their incinerator beam.
It's like, if you don't give me what I want, incineration.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Captain is a Dog asks if we remember any match where somebody's won with a backslide.
I'm sure it's happened in the history of pro wrestling. Yeah. It's probably one we've seen.
Somebody probably had a finisher.
Probably. Doc Hensla, when the last match ends, what do you think people will say and remember about Sting?
Yeah, he's the icon, the franchise, Showtime. He's the Joker. He's the Crow.
Yeah.
He's the guy,
He brought RoboCop to WCW to counter the strength of Sid.
Right, exactly. He accomplished that. I think that they're gonna say he's good.
Yeah, I mean he's a legend. He's one of the best ever. So,
Sting money. That's what
Sting
they're gonna
money.
say about him. Help the business.
Alex Foster here says, what would the ideal Going in Raw heel repackage look like?
Oh man. Us as bad guys. What would us as bad guys be?
Apparently, we need mustaches.
I guess so. Yeah.
The pencil thin mustaches.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's the
start.
No,
I mean that's the Young Bucks. I don't rate that. I want like a cool one. I want to be like.
I'm saying in terms of what constitutes a heel turn in AEW. I'm just saying let's start from there and decide whether we go that route or someplace else.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was very effective.
No, it wasn't.
What's the best? Effective. I mean, look, the best heel. Here's a problem. The best heel turn in the history of business is probably Hogan turning with the NWO.
But he had all that equity as like the most popular babyface in the history of wrestling, and that's why it was a good heel turn.
Yeah, yeah. What do we have equity as?
Timor here says, what other changes to someone's facial hair can you think of to make them look more like a heel? I mean, historically, you grow the goatee, then you're a heel.
Yeah, it's a mirror universe situation.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But seeing as I have a beard, if I shave my beard, is that a heel move?
Probably. You should do that.
No.
You do like the Just for Men thing?
No, I'm fine with it being gray. I'm fine.
No, I didn't say you're not. I'm just saying, like, have you thought about it?
Oh, dye it in? Yeah, maybe.
Just dye it in. Do like really thick.
Yeah.
Might look fun.
Yeah.
Might look cool.
We're here in the show. It gets a little hot and it starts dripping off my beard.
There you go. Perfect. Jesse Helsius says, what if Jinder wins the title from Seth and that's what pushes Drew over the edge? He's like, God, this guy can do it, but I can't.
That'd be pretty fun.
Everybody else accomplishes their goals except for Drew.
That'd be something else.
Yeah, that's good.
Luis here says, what other places have custom sets for special venues like AEW, Daly's Place, or WWE at Madison Square Garden? Which have been your favorites? What do you think of the presentation of Daly's Place last night?
I don't like it.
It makes it look.
I'm trying not to be negative. I'm really trying not to be negative.
Where the ACAM is, it does make the place look small.
It does. That's a problem.
It's a large venue because there's like three levels of seating.
Yeah. Like, what do you think the capacity is? Like
5,000-6,000 maybe.
5,000-6,000
maybe.
God, it's a good size. 500 people in there.
I know. It's a good size place.
It's just where they have to have the cameras. Like, there's nothing there. Primetime Rambo here says Undisputed Kingdom just feels like a flop. Remember when League of Nations was a thing? It feels even I don't know about that. He says it feels even less interesting than the League of Nations.
So 5,500 seats at Daly's Place.
That's crazy. Looks like a classroom. High Plains Drifter here with another gifted sub membership. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We'll end on this one. Cream Reviews. I hope it's a channel that reviews cream. Says what era
the band Cream or types of cream?
all of it. Yeah, the band cream.
Anything and everything cream.
Yeah, anything cream. You know,
Shaving cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cream pies. Like the dessert, because you can't do.
No, can't do that.
You can't do the sexual act.
No,
you can't put that on YouTube.
No, you can't do that on YouTube. There's other places you could.
Unless you have like a sister channel on Pornhub, then you can be like, "Hey, I've got a new review of that."
Yeah, you could, I suppose.
You can check it out over there. Cream Reviews here says, what era of Sting is prime Sting? It's the Crow. It's the Crow.
Yeah, it's got to be the Crow because that's been the iteration of Sting for the most part that's lasted the longest in his career. I mean, since 97 till now. I know there's Joker Sting and then Wolfpack Sting in between, but by and large, that's the presentation that has been the predominant one for the last 20-some years of his career. So
exactly.
Got to say that one.
Yeah, I would say that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Review King says Crow Sting fought NWO entirely by himself. Exactly.
That's true.
As much as I'd love to say Wolfpack Sting.
Or Joker Sting.
Or Joker Sting, yeah. Or Telephone Sting. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.